The highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. I can do whatever I want today. People want to become wealthier to make them happier. Happiness is the complicated subject because everyone's different. But if there's a common denominator in happiness and universal fear of joy, it's not that people want to control their lives. The ability to do what you want when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want, is priceless. It is the highest dividend money piece. Having a strong sense of controlling one's life is more dependable predict of positive feelings of well-being than any of the objective conditions of life we have considered. More than your salary, more than your size of your house, more than the prestiges of your job. Control over doing what you want when you want to with the people you want to is the broadest lifestyle variable that makes people happy. Yeah, money's greatest intrinsic value, and this can't be overstated. It's its ability to give you control over your time to obtain bit by bit. A level of independence and autonomy that comes from upspent access to give you a greater control over what you can do and when you can do it. A small amount of wealth means the ability to take a few days off work when you're sick without breaking the bank. Gaining that ability is huge if you don't have it. They can be life-changing. More still means the ability to take a job with a lower pay but flexible hours, maybe one with a shorter commute, or being able to deal with a medical emergency without the added burden of worrying about how you pay for it. Then there's a returning when you want to instead of when you need to. Using your money to buy time and options has a lifestyle benefit few luxury goods can compete with. But doing something you love on a schedule you can't control can feel the same as doing something you hate. When you accept how true the statement is, you realize that allowing money toward a life that lets you do what you want when you want, with who you want, where you want, for as long as you want has incredible return. I said no. That didn't make a big difference in my life. That was just more money in the bank. The difference happened when I was 22. Part of what's happened here is that we've using our greater wealth to buy a bigger and better stuff. But we've simultaneously given up more control over our time. At best, those things cancel each other out. But it feels like you are working 24/7. Compared to the generation prior, control over your time has diminished. As the sense of controlling your time is such a key happiness influencer, we shouldn't be surprised that people don't feel much happier even though we are on average richer than ever. It was my dream to have one of these cards of my own because I thought they sent such a strong signal to others that you made it. You're smart. You're rich. You have a taste. You're important. Look at me. Oh my god. More than capitalism makes, helping people fake it until they make and cherish the industry. But the truth is that wealth is what you don't see. Wealth is financial assets that haven't yet been converted into the stuff you see. That's not how we think about wealth because you can't contextualize in what you can see. Ambassador Bielma once wrote, "There's no fast way to feel rich than to spend lots of money on really nice things. But the way to be rich is to spend money you have, and to not spend the money you don't have. It's really that smart. Simple." Okay, it is excellent advice, but It may not go far enough, but the only way to wealth is to not spend the money that you do have. It's not just the only way to accumulate wealth. It's the very definition of wealth. We should be careful to define the difference between wealthy and rich. It is no more than semantics. Not knowing the difference is a source of countless poor many decisions. Rich is the current income. Something driving a 100,000 car is almost certainly rich, because even if they purchased the car with a debt, you need a certain level of income to afford the monthly payment. Same with those who live in big homes. It's not hard to spot rich people. They often go out of their way to make themselves known, but wealth is hidden. It's income, not spent. Wealth is an option, not you taken to buy something later. It's a better life than opening your options, flexibility, and growth one day, purchasing more stuff than you could right now. Exercise is like being rich. You think, I did the work and I now deserve to treat myself that big meal. Wealth is turning down the treat meal and actually burning net calories. It's hard and requires self-control, but it creates a gap between what you could do and what you choose to do that occurs to you over time. The problem for many of us is that it is easy to find rich role models. It's harder to find wealthy ones because in the definition their success is more hidden. There are, of course, wealthy people who also spend a lot of money on stuff, but even in those cases, what we see is their richness, not their wealth. We see the cars they choose to buy and perhaps the school they choose to send their kids to. We don't see the savings, retirement accounts, or investment portfolios. We see the homes they bought, not the homes that they could have bought, had the strategy themselves in. The danger here is that I think most people deep down want to be wealthy. They want freedom and flexibility, which is what financial assets not yet spent can give you. But it is just so ingrained in us that to have money to spend money that we don't get to see the restraint it takes and actually be wealthy. And since we can't see it, it's hard to learn about it. Imagine how hard it would be learn how to write if you couldn't read the words of great authors. Who would be your inspiration? Who would you admire? Whose nuances, tricks, and tips would you follow? It would make something that is already hard even harder. It's difficult to learn from what you can see, which helps explain why it's so hard for many to build it well. Keep this in mind when quickly judging others' success and setting your own goals. My observation is that yes, many do. Past a certain level of income, people fall into three groups. Those who save and those who don't think they can save, and those who don't think they need to save. This is for the latter two. The first is simple, but it's overlooked. Instead of building wealth has little to do with your incomes or investment returns, and a lot to do with your savings rate. A quick story about the power of efficiency. The same is true with your money. Investment returns can make you rich, but whether investing strategy will work and how long it will work for, and whether markets will cooperate is always there. Results in shredding uncertainty, personal savings and frugality, finances and conservation and efficiency. If you view building wealth as something that will require more money or big investment returns, you may become pessimistic. If you view it as powered by your own frugality, efficiency, and destiny to clearer, wealth is just accumulated leftovers and after you spend what you take in, and since you can build wealth without a high income but have no chance of building wealth without a high savings rate, it's clear which one matters more. I'm better off than you are, despite being a worse investor. I'm getting more benefit from investments and despite lower returns. The same is true for incomes. Learning to be happy with less money creates a gap between what you had and what you want. Similar to gap you get from growing your paycheck, but easier and more in your control. A high savings rate means having lower expenses than you otherwise could, and having lower expenses means your savings go further than you would if you spent more. Everyone is in the basics. Once they are covered, there is another level of comfortable basics. And past that, there is a basics that are both comfortable, entertaining, and enlightening. When you define the savings as a gap between your ego and your income, you realize why many people with a decent income save so little. It's that they struggle against their instincts to extend your pickle feathers in an utmost limits and keep up with others doing the same. People with an enduring personal financial success, not necessarily those with high incomes, tend to have a propensity to not give a damn what others think about them. Savings can be created by spending less. You can spend less if you desire less, and you will desire less if you care less about what others think about you. As I argue often in this book, money relates to more in psychology than finance. Yeah, psychology than finance. But savings does not represent a goal of purchasing something specific. The flexibility and control over your time is unseen return on wealth. I'd say it's incalculable. Savings in a bank that earns 0% interest might actually generate extraordinary return if they give them a flexibility to take a job with a lower salary but more purpose, or away with the investment opportunities that come. Yeah, when those without flexibility return desperate. And that hidden return is becoming more important. If you have flexibility, you can wait for the good opportunities, both in your career and for your investments. You will have a better chance of being able to learn a new skill when it's necessary, to find your passion and use it at your own pace. You can find a new routine at a slower pace and think about life with a different set of assumptions. The ability to do those things when most others can't is one of the few things that will set you apart in a world where intelligence is no longer a sustainable advantage. Having more control over your time and options is becoming one of the most valuable currencies in the world. That's why more people can and more people should save money. Oh, reasonable, rational. You are not a spreadsheet. You are a person, a screwed up, emotional person. It took me a while to figure this out, but once it clicked, I realized it's one of the most important parts of finance. Without comes into something that often goes overlooked. Don't I aim to call deliberation like that when making financial decisions? Aim to just be pretty reasonable. Reasonable is more realistic and you have a better chance of sticking with it for the long run. It's what matters most when managing money. Reasonable, rational. Reasonable, rational. I visualized my grief if the stock market went way up and I wasn't in it, or if it went way down and I wasn't completely in it. My intention was to minimize my future regret. So I split my contribution 50-50 between bonds and equities. Day trading and picking individual stocks is not rational for most investors. The odds are heavily against your success. Josh Brown, who advocates and mostly owns diversified funds, once explained why. He also owns a smattering of individual stock. I'm not buying individual stocks because I think I'm going to generate alpha. I just love stocks and have ever since I was 20 years old. And it's my money. I get to do whatever. Quite reasonable. Acting on investment forecasts is dangerous, but I get many people try to predict what will happen next year. As a human nature, it's reasonable. Jack Bogle, a late founder of Vanguard, spent his career on a cruise ship to promote low-cost passive index savings. Okay, that's enough today. I feel kind of a little bit hungry.